White House getting caught in a major lie about the price tag of President Biden's massive socialist spending spree. This comes after the administration and allies spent another weekend continuing to push the idea that the multi-trillion-dollar plan wouldn't cost Americans a dime.
What we've said from the beginning is it's never been about the price tag. It's about what we want to deliver.
We don't look at this as a number. We look at this as what programs are we going to deliver.
President Biden has been a good faith partner to the entire Democratic Party. He reaches out and he actually tries to understand our perspective, and that is why I am fighting for his agenda with the Build Back Better Act. This conversation shouldn't be about numbers.
And just a few hours ago at the White House, Jen Psaki forced to admit the Biden administration has been misleading Americans.
Following up on something that you just said, you said that the president's going to have a virtual meeting with House progressives to talk about how this Build Back Better package is now going to be smaller than $3.5 trillion. But you have been saying that it cost zero. So are you now admitting that the plan does not cost zero? Or is it less than zero?
Well, let's not dumb this down for the American public here. So the point is that's important to the American public, all of your viewers too, is that this is not going to cost the American public a dollar.
So just to not dumb it down then, does the plan cost nothing or is the plan free?
The plan costs nothing for the American people who make less than $400,000.
That was our very own Peter Doocy, Dana.
Very young.
Not a bad question.
Very young.
Do you think he got anywhere with that?
Well, I think so, mostly because I believe that people understand what's going on. If you look at some of the polling for independents looking at this, they're like 72% against it. It's not that you wouldn't say, yeah, free college sounds amazing, and so does free childcare. Like, it all sounds great. But then you dig one question deeper, and they're not there for that. So we said in the, Harold, you mentioned in the first block that Biden beat Bernie in the primary. Well, he said, I'm the moderate. He said, I'm not a socialist. Like, I'm obviously the moderate. But right now, Bernie is the face of the administration. He's the one out there calling for the $6 trillion. He's saying, well, we'll take $3.5 trillion, though it really should have been $6. He's out there really helping. AOC's out there. Jayapal's out there. Where are the moderates? They're basically like, wow, we just got kicked in the face by the president. And so the fact that they are continuing to say things like it costs zero reminds me of when the White House also tried to say that Republicans were the ones that defunded the police. It doesn't actually wash. People actually don't get it. And the last thing I would say is that the summer of disasters that we saw is turning into the fall of failures. And one of the things that is happening is that people are really focused on inflation. That is the thing to watch. People are concerned about it. The Fed says it's temporary, but when people start seeing that meat costs 28% more than what they've been paying, that they start to feel that.
Then there should be the winter of woe, Dana. And then after that, we shall have the spring of suffering.
Perfect.
Yes.
Are you mocking her?
And then a summer of bummer.
I like that one.
You want to take this, Greg? Go ahead. You're all hopped up.
No, I was very excited by that. The economy is like a sinking ship. And it's operational as long as you have the buckets to empty the water out, and we are the buckets. The taxpayers are the buckets. The money doesn't exist even after it's spent, so you have to get more and more buckets. Basically, we're funding a multi-marketing scheme. And maybe that's the way government's always been, and I just realized it now. But the fact is, I'm going to spend money I don't have. Don't worry, I will tax you. Then by the time we get that money from you, there's already another spending bill, right? And then what do I do with that? Well, that's not going to cost you anything because I'm going to tax you later. So it's this thing that keeps going. It is like it's a pyramid scheme. But maybe that's what it always has been, and I was naive not to see it.
You're not naive, Greg.
Ah, thanks.
Come on. Be better than that. So, to Greg's naive point, you're establishing these trillion-dollar programs that are going to eventually go away, and then they're going to need to be refunded, Kennedy. Yes. So you're setting it up here, and now the new spending level is now multi-trillion dollars each year.
Isn't it insane that, do you remember when the stimulus passed back in 2008, and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is insane. $800 billion?
We thought that was a lot.
We could never afford this.
I could barely say the words.
Yeah, and Republicans were so mad at President Obama, and it was just, it was such a phenomenal number, and now we're going, 2 trillion, 3 trillion. Bernie's like, 6 trillion. That's where I want to stop. It's like Joe Manchin's like, 1.5 is my ceiling. Bernie's like, 6 trillion is my floor. There's a lot of real estate in between, and no one is being honest about the fact that, yes, taxation is theft. There's no such thing as a government investment. Government cannot earn money. Government does not create things that create revenue. They reach into your bank account, and now they want to do it with the IRS. Every expenditure you have over $600, the IRS wants banks to tell them what you're spending money on. Every single purchase over $600. That is a taking. They are taking money, they are taking information, and the American public, plenty of them who make less than $400,000 a year, are getting absolutely hosed.
Yeah, what do you think about that? The feds want to look at everything over $600 in your checking account. You think that's cool?
I think that's wrong, and I hope that's taken out of the bill. But let's put some in perspective here. In the 80s, we spent billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars on defense spending. And I think it created, it was an investment in our country. It was an investment in taking down communism. And we found the internet out of it. There was an enormous amount of attendant technologies that came from it. One of the reasons I think you have the private sector partnering with the public sector to send people to space is because there's going to be so many things that we learn, so many ways that our phones will work better, so many ways that telecommunications, and for that matter, all communication services will do better. Now, I don't necessarily quarrel. We can quarrel about whether or not there's enough in here to do all of those kinds of things. But government does do smart things and can do smart things. Now, in this bill here, I differ slightly with everybody.
Droning children, that was a smart thing.
Bernie Sanders is not the face of my party. If we're going to look at the face right now of the Democratic Party, it's probably Joe Manchin. I mean, I've been hearing people on our network say there's Big Joe and Little Joe, and I think they're calling Joe Biden Little Joe. Joe Manchin is the most important person in domestic policy in the country.
Yeah, but they all can't stand him on the Democratic side.
I think to Greg's point, I think there are a lot of people hiding behind him. You said it too. I think a few people are hiding behind him.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got a big fight here. It's now 1.5 to 2.1 is what this thing will be.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
3.5
well,
is not there.
1.5 trillion is the moderate proposal, then my head is going to explode, Harold. That is crazy.
I'm just putting the numbers in perspective. Now, we can
well,
have that.
no, we
let's
have the
that
perspective. It's crazy, and we can't afford it, and you know it, and so does
I don't
the
want your head
audience.
to explode, Jesse.
Yeah.
What happens to your hair?
I don't know.
Your beautiful hair.
You should talk. Your hair is higher than mine was last year.
Closer to God.
What number can you accept where your head won't explode?
You don't need me to tell people what my number is. I'm not even in Congress yet.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.